is tearing in heat, and then a wide, cold mouth swallows me. I come out into noise. The world around me hums, the hum lives inside bone I didn't know I had. Hands pull and rub and slap. Wet is everywhere, metal is in the smell. A strip of blue light flickers. A voice hisses, "Breathe, little scrap," and I breathe, and the roar of air tastes old and rusty and sweet with rot. They wrap me in something rough and damp. We move. The hum moves with us up one pitch when boots thud down when we pause. Breaths are steps. Steps are jolts. I don't know where I end. There is a chest. It is a wall that rises and falls. It is what I hold. The cloth between us is soaked, it cools on my back and then warms to my skin. That chest is voice. It is a wet throat whisper, a hiss between teeth. Hush now, my only. Another voice near my head. I speaks loud. Male, full count on fingers, no growths. Slow cry, mark it. The ticker's red. A finger presses my heel. There is a pinch with a squeak. Something clicks. A hand with iron breath snaps and the sharp edge of a tag bites skin. The hiss voice on the chest growls, low and warning, but there is a harsh bark in answer. Procedure, Mela. You want him untracked? You want your quotas docked? I do not know these shapes of sound, but I know my own throat when it opens. I make noise. It is thin. The world answers with a wider noise, a chorus of machines like breath. The blue strip of light above us sputters and flares and spits. The spit is snow that floats in the air and sizzles when it touches pooled wet. The hand with iron breath tightens around my ankle, twitches, releases. The chest presses my face into hot skin, and there is something to latch onto. The mouth in my face finds it. I draw, and warm salt and iron fill mouth and slow the scrape in my throat. Good. The hiss voice exhaled. Good, little use. Take while we have. We move again. The air changes shape. Narrow becomes wider, then tight and narrow like a throat. Steps become stumbles, then a shuddering glide as if the floor gives way and sighs. Walls are close. Things scrape against cloth. Hands push the chest. Shouts are gravel that roll over us, cursing at a tide of bodies I cannot see. There is smell. Piss gone sharp, oil worn down to a sour meat the day after. The hum underneath everything thickens and I feel my own small heart try to match it and fail. Queue's full. A far voice breaks like thin glass. Move along. Move along. No infants. No infants. We do not move along. And the chest I cling to stays. The cloth around me tightens to make me smaller. I slip on skin and slide down to the curve of hip, where a cord of leather bites my cheek. The chest breathes faster and harder, each breath shakes me and the tag on my heel clicks against skin with a metallic hunger. Maela, step away, another voice says. Clipped, official, edges clean like stamped metal. Tickets are done for this cycle. Come back on the next. I have him, the chest says. Hez half dry. His heat is poor. Give me broth, please, just a cup. Next cycle. The clean-edged voice slices the air. You want a mark? You want the lash? Move. The chest does move. Not back, not away. It moves sideways, pressing deeper into heat and smell and sound. Our path is a seam, and she finds it like a crack in old stone, sliding through bodies that press and grunt and bleed. Hands hit her shoulders, elbows rip at the cloth. A thigh bruises my head, a forearm smears grease on my face. I swallow it with milk. Somewhere a thin alarm chirps with a polite insistence no one hears, then drowns in the flood of shouts when a shutter slams down over a hatch and crushes fingers into pulp. I do not know what fingers are, but the scream that follows is like my cry, only big, too big to live in your chest. Shrines, lanterns out again, someone mutters, breath close to my face, Hez turning his face. Bad. Bad. Shut your mouth, Cut, another replies. You want them to hear? Rations are off, a woman says. They're thinning with, I lose the rest. The hum shudders. A stamp beats deep in the floor. The world has rooms inside it that open and close like mouths. We pass one. The room breathes heat through slats. And on that heat rides a smell like burned bone. The chest stiffens. A beat under my cheek flips and flutters. "Not here," she says, and her voice is breath but also steel. "Not my only, not here." We leave the heat. We are in wind that tastes like damp rock. A lift cage moans. The floor trembles under us and then seems to let go. The pressure on my ear increases, a weight teaching me what my shape is. The blue light above stutters into orange and then into a color like old bruises. The hum drops a note. I flood my mouth with warm and sweet and metal because it calms the scrape in my throat. When the lift stops, it does so like a held breath let go. Hands have bruised us forward, the chest says. Nearly to me. The word is a touch. A child shrieks somewhere ahead. Men cough with thick wetness in their throats. The floor sticks to bare feet. My skin pulls when the cloth moves. My heel tag catches and tears and then catches again. I am carried through a thin gated mouth of a room that laughs high through a damaged speaker. Welcome, 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 Unit Theta C to something, and then a flurry of static. Keep your place, the clean edge voice commands again from somewhere inside. There are tables of metal. There are hands that have gloves glazed with old turns of filth. There is a vat. Steam rises from it and coats my face in slick. My mouth tastes the steam. My tongue tells me it is meat and sugar and fire. A scoop slides. Bowls clatter. Someone calls numbers. Someone else cries, "No!" Not that. She's mine. The chest presses to the edge of the process. She leans harder and her breath makes a sound I have not heard before. It is hunger breathing the way I do. In it is desperation turned into sound. "Please," she says, "for him. He will die without." A gloved hand appears, cratered with scars. Coins click. Something passes down and something passes up. "For him," that hand says, and it lands weight into ours, a bowl hot, shaking in her hold. She holds me against her with one forearm, and with the other she dips. The first spoon is for me. I do not understand. Then the rough metal touches my lip and the liquid finds my mouth. It is poison sweet with iron caught in it. It is everything. I swallow and my chest remembers how to breathe again, as if the thing in the spoon commanded it. "You'll be back," the gloved hand mutters. "Always," the chest replies. We eat. Each mouthful steals from the chest and gives to me. The steam fogs my sight. The blue strip of light above the serving hatch spits again, and a flake falls into the bowl. She does not pull it out. We need the weight of it in the spoon. She gives until the bowl is a metal smell with a film of grease and a line of brown clinging to the lip. Then she sucks at the metal like a pipe for heat and throws the bowl back into the pile. The pile rattles. The sound of the pile is like bone. We move again, down a hall where people have made nests against the wall, and those nests smell like old clothes and damp hair and breath turned sour by sleep. Men with sticks walk by, and the sticks hit those who are still. The sticks make a sound when they meet a skull. It is hollow. "Enforcers," someone whispers. The word leaks into my ear. We go through a door with a hand slapped red on it. Inside is red light. The red makes everything black look red too. My eyes are new and do not know how to decide. A shriek makes a person into a shape in the corner. The shape tugs at hair, rocks, mumbles a prayer I do not know. Another shape on a pallet says, "Well, show me then," and spreads clever hands like frogs. From these clever hands hangs a chain. At the end of the chain is a hook. On the hook, a strip of old skin dries, and the skin's black curling numbers say nothing I know. The chest says, "Tag." We were 2 floors down. They did it. His heel. Let me see. The clever hands come. Their fingers scrape red light. They take my foot. They pull back the rag. The tag grazes their glove. No stamp, the clever voice says. Just the hook. Good, good, you're good. Didn't happen, isn't real. A clipper snips. The iron breath on my heel frees. The chest breathes out as if air was knives she held in her ribs. Your luck's rotten, the clever voice remarks. You born him in the shift change. What else could I do? The chest whispers. He came. You'll need, a metallic hiss interrupts. The siren begins as a keening child and swells into something vast. The hum under everything lifts and tightens like tendons pulled too hard. Voices in the red room flatten. The clever hands still. A stamp in the floor shakes rust from the ceiling. Emergency seal sections 4 through 6 theta C. The speaker blares with cheerful flourishes. Stay calm. People are not calm. The hall outside is a river with stones being thrown into it. It surges back on itself, then forward, then tries to climb the walls. The sticks reduce men to their hands and knees, and still the men crawl and are trampled. Back in, the clever voice commands. The door slams, a bolt drops, and the red light does not change when the hall outside becomes a bell of screaming. The chest rocks on her heels on the floor, me pressed to her. My mouth at the wet bulge, my ear to the syncope of her pulse. On the floor beside us, someone coughs meat. The siren stays, the stamp stays, the chest breathes and breathes until I fall into the pattern. There is a rhythm here. There is always a rhythm wherever you lay me. We leave with the rhythm still beating its shape into us. We come out to hot air that smells of rusted dreams and sour clothes. The lock is up again, a gate pulled. The floor is washed with a film of oil. The sticks contain, harry us like dogs. The head of a man is a bleeding wedge where the shutter kissed him. The hum under everything has a tremor in it, like a voice that wants to break. Move, move, a new edge says. And this one isn't worn by use. Its owner's boots are new, their shine sealed with something that keeps filth from biting. A laugh is made near those boots, and it is made of teeth. Tag, the not-worn edge, says to us, name, work lease. He holds out a slate. The chest swallows. Myla, she says, pureborn theta C lifter, temporary attached to, a hand snatches at her rags. The owner of the hand is a woman with sores under her jaw. Your bowl, she says, you still got your back off rivets, the enforcer says, and jams the new boot into her knee. She folds. The boot leaves a print of clean in the broad smear of filth, and that print is the wrong shape in this world. The enforcer looks at me. He does not smile. He does not frown. His face is a stamped plate. He touches my foot. The tag bites my heel. He reads something. He grunts. No stamp, he says. Fine. Icray shit. Now. No, the chest says. A sound that belongs in her belly, not her mouth. He is mine. He is mine. Everything is ours, the enforcer says, and there is no anger. He gestures. There is a man in a robe that was once white and is now grease-colored. He steps forward with a book that is not paper and not gear. It is a thing of caught lightning. He smiles like a man who has carefully drawn his own mouth. Put him down, the robed man says. Sign and seal. The chest tries to run. The hall is not a hall anymore. It is a throat. The door at the end of it begins to fall. It does not fall quickly. It is a patient thing, and there is time to see the enamel flaking from its edges and the blackness under the paint. There is time to see other bodies ahead of her, all of them moving toward the same mouth. The chest turns. She turns to take me back into the red room. The red room has been made into a mouth too, spitting people out, bolt or not. Someone falls under our feet. It is a child, and the body is rolled like rags. We go over them because there is nowhere else to put our feet. I feel their ribs scratch my cheek through cloth. My mouth unlatches, I cry. My cry is a thread in a net of screams. Maella, someone calls. Maella, you fool, take the station stairs. She makes for the stairs. They are a grate. They are a ladder for feet hung in a shaft down which the air roars. People pour up and down simultaneously. Hands pull at us, some to help, some to take. The enforcer's stick hits her shoulder. She stumbles and I slide, face into the smell of grease, the tag scraping, then biting deeper. My skin splits. Warmth runs. The enforcer is a wall. In, the robed man arrives at his elbow. He opens his book. The door comes down. It comes down on a hand. Fingers fold under it like worms. Bone makes a sound. The weight is there. The shaft breathes the hum under everything, groans like a man overburdened. There is nowhere to go. The chest stands her ground in a tiny circle which is only big enough for her feet and mine. She draws me tight again, my ear to her heart. She lifts her chin. She meets the enforcer's eye. Say your creed, the robed man says. Say it because it is always said. Say it so I can take him without shame. No, she says. He shrugs and turns the page. He says words that smell like dust and old heat. He looks at me when he says them. He reaches for me. She bites him. Her teeth go into the web between his thumb and first finger. He shrieks. The enforcer laughs once, a single quiet bark. He ain't surprised. The stick blurs. It finds her ribs. The air goes out of her. It finds her again. It is a measured thing, a machine doing work. She falls to her knees in that small circle. Bodies close in around us like wire. She does not drop me. The world narrows to the patch of fabric where my face can find her skin. I latch. The taste is copper in the milk. The enforcer lifts the stick a last time. Stop, another voice. This one old. It comes from the platform edge, where a man stands thin as steel wire with a cord of keys that jangles like a memory. He points at me. You'll mark him then, he says. You want him, then you mark him in the right place now. Stamp, stamp, no slivers later. You don't want another shift of chasing papers that don't have an iron in them. The enforcer grunts. The robed man sucks his bleeding hand and nods wetly. Yes. Yes, he says. The keys rattle. A boy with a basket hurries up. He is a knot of sharp knees and dim wish. He holds up a little press between both hands like offering a shrine bowl. Lie him, the robed man says. The enforcer takes me as if I am paper, not muscle and blood and breath and the smell of my mother. I fight, but I do not have arms like sticks that swing and crack. I have no teeth. I have a mouth and a throat and the flare in my lungs. I let out all of it. The enforcer sets me on a crate. He pins my leg. He pins my hips with one hand like a clamp, and the other hand holds my ankle, and the world is a bright focus. It is just the parcel of skin on my heel where his thumb is. Hold, the robed man says. He confirms his book with a tap, and it answers with a hum. He leans. The press is brought up. Its mouth is a ring, black-stained, dotted with teeth. It has a smell like blood baked and bled again and again. He aligns it to my skin with joyless care. Now, he says. He bites me with iron. The pain is not a line. It is not a point. It is a sun, a whole star, falling and landing on the smallness of my flesh. It burns. It chews. It eats a circle of me. The smell is me turned into something you would not think to eat, and yet here it is in the air again. It is mine, and not mine. The child I was in the moment before is behind the iron now, and the child after has a little wheel of absence built into him that the iron leaves behind. I scream. The sound is all I am able to be. Good, the robed man says gently. Good. Good. He is nursery now. He is we. The enforcer lifts me and the skin tears free from the mouth of the stamp. It tears sticky, and it takes some of me with it, and I feel the cool air rush into that space and lay there and make a home. Blood runs down my little leg like a line of warmth and cold. The chest is a shape on the floor. She has her hands on the crate. She is trying to get up. Some of her hair is glued to the wood with spit and sweat. Her lips move. I cannot hear the words in the noise of the hall. The enforcer's fingers open. He does not throw me. He passes me over the circle of space onto other hands. These hands wear woven bands that scratch me. Their owner is a woman with a face like dried clay. She holds me like a thing, efficiently. The robed man marks something on his book, and the book hums. He nods at the enforcer. "Take her below," he says, "or leave her." The flensers will make their rounds. The enforcer chooses neither. He steps past her. He takes her shoulder and drags her into the side of the stream, to the wall, to a place where feet will not tread. He drops her down and walks away without looking back. She looks at me. The clay-faced woman has already turned her back to carry me over to a door barred and marked with a child's scrawl. There is a crack in that door where you can look in. I look out. The chest's eyes hold me. They are large. They get larger. She drags herself across the floor, palms scraping up skin. She makes a sound. The sound is not word. It is the animal sound we both have. The clay-faced woman kicks the door. It opens and light the color of watered milk spills. She steps in and the door closes behind us, and the sound of the hall becomes impossibly larger because it is not in the room but in the walls, in the floor, everywhere. It presses from all sides and finds ways to worry at my skin with its teeth. "We got a hot brand," the clay-faced woman calls ahead. Other voices answer. The kind you forget unless they bend into you with pain or sweetness. Footsteps clack. A boy in a dirty linen smock comes. He opens his arms as if to take a bundle of pipes or rags. Clayface gives me to him. He is careful with the new ring of absence on my heel. He carries me to a row of beds with straps. The straps shine with use. In them are others like me, all of us little, all of us loud or asleep. The air here is sharp with disinfectant and boiled linen and a sweet milk smell that makes the hunger twist in me again, even while the iron bite in my foot still burns. "Batch 773, someone says. The numbers are a rhythm in the mouth. They will say them often so I can learn them. I'm 773. It makes a rung ladder in the mind. The boy straps me. He buckles straps over my chest and hips as if wind will come through and steal me. The leather is warm where it touches me and cold at the edges. He wipes my foot with a pad that sizzles. I try to kick him. He presses my ankle against the bed with 2 fingers, lacking the iron's cruelty, and I quiet because it is that or burn on the inside again. He ties a cloth around my heel and I feel the stiff border of a small card press into skin. It is hard like a tooth and it has a string that bites. The string goes around and pulls. The weight of the card drags when I move. I learn not to move because the card will punish me. There is a noise like swallowing. A tube slides from the ceiling like a tongue. A woman with a face cut in deep lines moves from bed to bed with a bottle. She plugs the bottle into a tube and the tube into a hungry mouth. She comes to me. Her hands smell of alcohol and salt and something like the boiled fat smell, but faint. She takes my chin with her thumb and forefinger. She opens my mouth. She pushes the tube in. It is soft at the end and hard at the start, and when she presses the bottle, the warm milk runs, and my throat remembers it is a throat, and my belly remembers it is a vessel. "Quiet," she says to me, to the room. "Quiet your little fires, quiet your kicking, quiet." I swallow. The tube makes a soft little kiss noise at my lips. My foot thuds with its own heart, a separate, angry, small creature. My eyes blur. The ceiling is a plate of metal that sweats with a fine damp. In the seam over my head, a black filth has been mashed into a line by lazy hands. A drip falls. It lands on my cheek and stings. I do not have hands to wipe it. We sleep. The room sings with machine breaths and thin human breaths. The wall harbors a fan that whines and hiccups and smooths again, unable to find a place where it is entirely itself. I dream in heat. My dreams are simple, hums in the chest and the milk. When I wake, the hum is here, but the chest is not. The milk comes on a schedule determined by hands. Hands turn me, hands blot me. Hands lift my legs by the ankles like cut loins and wipe. Hands powder me with chalk. I put all the evidence of me into my breath and into my voice. The women lower the lights to a dark red and then to black. Lights are sicknesses that can be turned. The darkness is not. It is always behind the lights. In the darkness, machines keep breathing. The clay-faced woman returns and checks the little tags at each bed with an eye that is bored and precise. She sees mine, 773. She presses the card to settle it further in the wrap so it cannot move. Her finger runs the ink. It stains her finger. She blinks slow. Another 7 batch, she says. By him, they cheapen them each turn. Don't, the other says, the one with the bottle. You want your throat ripped? You think Hez listening in here? Clayface says, amused. He'd have turned away long before he found his ears could hear this place. Words, sounds. They move through the air like little dark birds. They settle, but they are not for me. They pass on because I am too new to hold them. A runner boy crashes in through the door. Ration riot in the pit floor, he pants. We're to lock. Now, now. The women move, and the boy grabs the bolt. They throw it. The metal bar falls into its cups with a sound that says, "We will not open." The room changes temperature just slightly, enough to make the hair on my arms aware. The women drag barrels in front of the door. The room becomes a box inside a box. The hum changes. It is an earthquake you cannot see. It moves through the metal, and because the metal is everywhere, it moves everywhere at once. The one with the bottle counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. She frowns. Where's the mid-mother? Where's Tyria? Where's Den? Where? She pulls down a shutter, metal slats that slide with a clatter over a hatch cut into the wall. Then she lights a burner. The flame is miserly and blue. The dryness and heat itch my nose. My body keeps reminding me that there has been a change by demanding I cry. I oblige. The room lifts its voice, and the chorus is thin and high. The machines remain themselves. The fan coughs. Shh, the bottle woman says, because women always say shh when they don't know what else to do. She moves to each bed and puts a hand on a belly, feeling for heat or its lack. She tucks. She rubs out a cramp in a tiny calf. Her hand is rough. It is a hand that has learned not to feel some things, or it would not be able to go on being a hand. The seal holds for a time that is measured by feedings and the coming and going of soft pipes. In the corner above the upper beds, a picture has been scratched into the metal. It is of a man with a halo of lines and a face without features. He holds a child. The lines of his arms are wrong, too long, and his hand is not a hand, it is a starfish bending around the child. And when the light is right, the scratches glimmer. When the light is wrong, the scratches are teeth. The fan sticks. It groans in its housing. The room gets thick, like breath taken into lungs that are already full of smoke. The bottle woman puts her ear to the wall. She scowls. Power's been diverted, she announces to the air. We're at half. Clayface shrugs. Better than the old month when we went to none and had to hold their mouths open and blow. Don't. I know. Clayface spits into the bucket. I know. After that, the machines strain. The tubes push slower, so slow we must suck. Some of us do not have the will yet to suck on the empty and believe it will become something. We cry. Clayface unlatches one baby and tucks him into the crook of her arm with a fierceness that is not love and not love. She rocks him, and his hand opens and closes on her skin with a stubborn rhythm. The room has many rhythms. This one starts small and grows. It is mine. On the other side of the shuttered hatch there is soft footfall and grumbling. It is not the crowd, it is cleaner and thus more frightening. It is the measured foot of a group trained to move together. A slogan is hissed like steam. A stick taps the shutter. The boy under the table pushes deeper into his hole. Sanitation, the leader calls. Spray and scrape. We're bolted, bottle woman answers. We have newborns. There is a pause, then a sign ground into the metal with a gloved hand. A line that means something to them, not me. Footsteps leave. After they pass, another smell threads through the old ones. A sweet, sick chemical that sits high in the nose and masks with ugly politeness anything raw, and the bottle woman swears quietly. The heat licks my heel under the cloth where the iron mouth kissed me. Each lick is a heartbeat rising to meet the bigger heart in the walls. After a time, the pain stops being in that one place. It moves. It becomes a line up the leg and into the belly and then under the ribs where the breath lives. My breath tries to mimic the fan. It coughs, it wheezes, it stutters, and then becomes a desperate, ugly, hungry thing. I am wired into the bed by my straps, but my chest wants to climb to where the air is. This is the first time I think I will die. The thought is not a word, it is an animal that knows it is under the foot of something too big. Bottle woman sees. She strips the strap from over my chest with a swift motion and lifts me until I am upright and my back is against her. Her skin is dry. She thumps my back. Hard. It hurts. It opens something. I cough. Clear comes out and runs down my chin. She wipes it with her wrist. She presses my face into the hollow of her shoulder and I breathe the salt there, and it does not stink of chemical or machine. It is human, rank, and necessary, and wrong in the middle of the wrong. Breathe then, she says, as if the word is a lever. I do. She lays me back and the strap goes over me again, comfort because it returns order of a kind. She looks at my tag, at the 773 and the other marks, the ones like crooked ladders that will mean what days I get feed and what days I get less. She squints. You came in hot, she tells me. You came in marked and not marked both. She smiles a little. You'll be quick. I can feel it. Quick or dead. Clayface snores sitting on a stool with her head against the wall, and the boy under the table has fallen asleep with his lips open. His feet twitch in dream. The room's heat rises and falls with the power's mood. In the dim, the scratched picture of the man with the two long arms is a smear of lighter shadow. After first sleep, after a feed that empties the bottle faster than Clayface's weight can press the tube, after my heel stops screaming and begins to only whine, there is another attempt at opening. This one is not decent. It scratches at the bolts. A serious clicking comes through with it, the kind that wraps around what it wants and does not let go. The boy under the table wakes and pisses himself, and the sharp smell rides up hot. He clamps both hands over his mouth. Bottle woman picks up the stick that leans near the door. It isn't a club like the enforcers, and it is a length of pipe with bolts through the end to make it heavy. She holds it with her elbows braced. She says nothing. Clayface opens one eye, then both. She gets up slow. She goes to the shutter and puts her ear to it. The clicking stops. There is a wet sound. Feet retreat the other way. Quit, she says down to the boy. They're gone. He weeps high and thin. I saw the Flensers, Tyria. Out there in Theta. They had the cart. Need and law, Clayface whispers back to him, to herself, to the iron of the shutter. Need and law. I do not know the difference. There is no difference in the dark. We are opened when the light goes scab pale again and the march of boots becomes the shuffle of bare feet. The bolt lifts. The door sucks inward like a held breath pulled out. The hall is calmer. On the wall opposite, there is a smear of the chest's hair. I know it is hers because of the way it curved under sweat at my cheek. There is dried blood below it where the white of a wrist hit the wood. It is not fresh. It is older than the hour. We go out, those who can. We stay, those who cannot be moved. I stay because my straps have not yet been chosen to be undone. My eyes find the crack in the door through which earlier I saw the chest, and through it now there is just the broad back of a man with a barrel on a harness, and a woman whose hand is on his back pushing him. On the far wall high up, the blue strip is back to blue. The hum is lower. The iron ring around my heel has cooled from flame to ember to iron. A fly lands on my bottom lip. I cannot swat. I blow. It stays, fascinated by the salt. I blow again harder. It lifts and then comes back. This is the first thing I have won. Yet it is small. They come to tag us again. A different robed man brings a different boy with a different basket, but the basket is the same shape because it is a belly for stamps, and the stamps are hungry. They do not stamp my heel again. They look and see the burn and move their hand up with petty disappointment and take the card at my wrist and write on it. The writing touches my skin as the card is pressed. The mark is liquid at first. It dries fast. It becomes a thin hardness that lives against me. It is not a weight you see, but it is a weight. Batch 773, the robed man repeats. His mouth makes the numbers with a smile like he invented them. He checks the number against his book's electric light and moves on. Clayface crouches. "You still got your noise?" she says. It is a joke. She knows that I will always have my noise. Ooh, even if it hurts me, even if it hurts her. She plucks a hair from her head and ties the end of my tag string in a better knot with it, a knot that will not slip. She does not look at my face. She looks at my heel. That is where I exist for her, and she is not wrong to understand me there. Later, someone comes with a tray. On the tray are short lengths of copper wire, clean and bright, and little cloth bundles with small, hard corners. The tray is placed on the shelf below the gouached picture of the faceless man. The bottle woman crosses herself awkwardly when she picks one of the bundles up and, without looking at me, wipes a bit of powder under my tongue. It tastes like bitterness and chalk. It makes the inside of my mouth go numb. She rubs with a finger that has sand in it until my gums bleed a little. She pushes a copper wire across my tongue, under the gums, and it sticks. She pushes another. She binds them. "Keep your teeth straight," she says with quiet apology. Poor, poor lamb. The tray moves down the row. The babies whimper and fuss at the strange. The machines hum, patient and patient and patient. I stop crying. It does not bring the chest back. It makes them look at me with their face creases softer and their hands gentler. But it does not bring her back. The word for this is not in me. There is only the space where the chest is not, and the way I feel in the straps, which is like a parcel waiting to be hoisted. The old man with the keys returns. He does not come all the way into the room. He stands in the doorway and leans the side of his head on the frame and looks in. His keys are iron and bone with string through them, and I think some of the bone is not animal. He counts with his eyes and touches 2 keys for each number. He sees Bottle Woman looking and makes a small flick with his chin. "Take it," he says. He turns his hand over in a gesture I do not know. She nods and he goes. The keys jingling speak a language older than the one the robed man's book hums in. It is a language of doors that never opened for certain kinds of people. After they leave, there is a hush. It is not quiet. It is not possible to be quiet here. There is always pipe and fan and drip and feet and the roar of others who are not us. But in the hush, what is left is just the breath and the hunger and the faint sting at the cut of my heel and the weight of the card on my wrist. Bottle Woman turns the blue strip down. The room turns the color of dark water. She sits, Her bones crack gently as if each joint was a cupboard opened after a long time. Clayface cleans a pot, which is not clean at all when she is done, but it is more clean than it was, and that has to count. A small creature scuttles across the floor and stops under my bed. A boy lifts his head and then his hand with slow wonder. He reaches. The woman smacks his fingers lightly and shakes her head. "Leave the rats," she says. "They're the ones that keep the insects down. You want fly eggs in your mouth?" He lies back down as if it is the first thing he has ever decided to do. He stares at the underside of my bed. He makes a shape with his lips. He repeats my number. 7, 7, 3. He makes the numbers into a song. He sings them to make them his. Note he does not know that this is the trick the Hive plays, to make us want our own leashes. Another feed, another wipe, sleep, waking in strange arms when Bottle Woman moves me to change sheets. She tucks me into a different strap. She is careful not to wake those that sleep, because here sleep is a thing you pay out small coins for, and you do not shake the man who holds your coin. The Flensers wheel past the door once more, their cart full. The wheel is poorly greased. It squeals a song with long notes. The smell that follows morphs the air. Bottle Woman sets her jaw. Clayface counts her breaths. I have a ritual now. It is 4 breaths. Draw, leak, pause, leak. On draw 4, I swallow. On leak 2, the machine clicks. On pause, the hum leans into me. My chest learns it. It lets go of a wildness I did not know it had. I slow. I let the machine carry me between breaths like a current carries a dead thing down a drain. I do not have words like current or drain. I have the sensation of being passed along. It becomes a habit, and habits are safer than hopes. In the next room, a man chants with flat lungs. It is a litany with words that are forbidden and yet are the only ones they all know. He pauses at each line for answers he does not get and does not expect. Bottle Woman brushes my hair with a damp cloth. The cloth has brown stains that never wash out. Her hand grows gentle and she hums to herself. Her humming is not the machine's. It is human and a little off, and it sits behind her teeth like shame. There is a breeze. It is so small, a mere thought of air moving. It carries in it a taste like metal turned to dust and blown into water, and if I were older I might name it as the storm coming. Here it is only a change. The blue strip flutters. Clayface looks up at it and mutters a promise we will all break. The fan coughs and wheezes and slows and then finds itself again. The breath of the room falters. I falter with it. My ritual fails. The milk does not come when it should because the tube does not push when it should. The Bottle Woman sees, but her hands are already 2 and she does not have a third to lay to me. She murmurs nonsense at the child next to me whose skin has taken on a strange blue at the lips. Clayface is in the far corner holding down a bundle that is seizing. The boy under the table is under it again with his hands over his head. I arch once, as if someone cut a string that hangs from my spine to the ceiling and then pulled it, when something opens under my ribs again. It is a red cave and its ceiling is falling. I reach for air and the air is different and harder, and my lungs make a noise that does not sound like a human thing at all. The card on my wrist digs a red half moon into the softness where the other bones meet. There is no chest. There is only the strap. The strap is not alive. The hum goes down and down and down and then, for a beat, is gone. The room screams then. It is long and it is thin and it is exactly the shape of a life being tipped into the sump. The burner flame flickers and narrows. The blue strip goes to a ghost of itself. Clayface looks at Bottle Woman and Bottle Woman looks at Clayface and both of their faces say, "We cannot raise the hive up if it does not lift itself." I move without thinking. I find the rhythm that is not there and I make it with the soft thing that is me. I breathe with what the hum used to be. I breathe to it anyway. I breathe like imitation. My throat sings with air that does not want to go in. The ache in my heel tethers me. Pain is a hook that keeps you here. I hold. I hold. The hum comes back, not full. Just a thread. The fan returns to itself like an old man lying back down after nearly falling. The machine coughs milk into the tube. It hits my tongue like a prayer fulfilled too late. I swallow. The blue strip thickens the world by a shade. Bottle woman allows herself to sag 1 inch, just one, and then she is fierce again. She comes to me. She lifts me and taps my back and whispers a thank you on my temple, which is hot. Clayface shakes her head and laughs without humor and wipes her face with her sleeve, leaving a clean track through the dust like a god's finger touched her. The boy under the table sticks his head out and looks around, and his eyes are wide and glassy. He says, "They said it was a murder riot. They said a woman bit a scribe. They said she wouldn't say the words. They said they stamped a babe on the crate." "Shut it," Clayface says softly. He goes quiet. His mouth keeps moving, though, around words he wants to own. He settles and rubs his elbow and hums the number song again. 773. 773. In his mouth I am alive. The last time I see outside that day is when Bottle Woman and Clayface roll the door to piss a bucket into the hall. The bucket tips and the liquid runs in rivulets and finds the grooves and drains away into a grate clogged with hair and threads and the unnameable. For a breath, the air is cleaner, and the hall beyond is bruised the color of the strip light, and the foot traffic is sparse. The enforcer with the new boots is not there. The robed man with the bleeding hand is not there. The clever-handed person in the red room has their door barred again. A paper symbol is pasted to the lintel, now bubbled from steam and flaking. They shut the door. The bolt falls into its slots with the weight of metal and promise. It is not hope, but it is not nothing. I do not cry. My throat is raw the way fabric is after it has been dragged over cement and dried there. My heel pulses a beat that is slower than my heart. The strap across my chest is a weight and a comfort both. The milk tastes of copper and ash now, more than it did before, and the tube is colder against my lip. I swallow anyway. It is what is given, and there is no line your mouth can refuse without your throat teaching you a harsher lesson. The woman with the bottle turns the lamp up a little so she can prick a bubble with a pin on a baby's lip without missing. The light is unkind to her face. There is a scar under her left eye that a machinist might have put there if a piece of his tool had flown free. Her hand is rough. It is steady. When she moves to my bed again and looks down at my face, there is a thing in her gaze like pity but stiffer. She takes my wrist and lifts it. The card scrapes. The string bites. She wets her thumb on her tongue and rubs at a smudge. The ink on the card darkens under the press of her spit. The little square is blank around the edges but full in the middle with my signs. She tucks it back into the cloth wrap. She does not let go. 7, she says to me. 703. Don't make me regret it. She smiles again, the same small bent thing of the lips. She means nothing by it except that she has to make something like a kindness to herself at the end of a long cycle, or she will rot. Clayface snorts. The boy under the table snores. The rat under my bed breathes with tiny insistence. The scratched picture on the wall gathers dust in its grooves. There is a way my heel throbs when I turn it out. There is a different way it throbs when I turn it in. I learned that if I keep my mouth on the tube when the machine coughs empty and then coughs again in a while, the taste that comes will be the same and I can wait, and the waiting will not be the length it once was. I learn the rhythm of my own weight in the straps. I learn the weight of the card against my wrist. It is not just weight, and it is a thing that will travel with me. It has corners. It has a smell like damp ink and human oil. It will never be not there. I do not know the future. I do not know the traps. I do not know the words law and need except as noises other people make. I know the press of the card. I know the iron ring burned into my heel. I know the hum when it is there, the hum when it is not. In my small breath world, these are the only truths that do not flicker. The card edge is sharp where the string rubs and frays it. I touch my wrist to the strap. The card knocks once against the leather with a soft click. It is the sound of an answer given whether you ask the question or not. I close my eyes and let the hum carry me across the stopped places in me, and when I open them again, the blue strip has paled into lighter bruises, and the corner of the card cuts a crescent into my skin, red and exact.